YouTube, Electric Adventures here with another package in the mail. Well, actually, technically it's two. We'll cover the extra one first. So I have I'll take it out of the satchel that it came in. So it's a book for one of the retro computers. And we have TRS-80 assembly language programming. So, if you're a watcher of my channel, you know I like collecting the books for the old retro computers as well, because it gives you a chance to experience the system as the users of the system would back in the day. There we go, it was $3.95 originally. It's actually written up there. It's all just writing and listings and things like that, but I just enjoy reading those and having a bit of a look. Of course that's Z80, so I'm very familiar with Z80 machine code already, but it'll have some interesting insights into the memory layout of the machine and how you control the screen and everything like that. Although, dare I say, what actually comes with the machine, the manual's not too bad. Alright, now onto the main package. So I have a box here. This is from Japan. Now, one of the sellers over there that I've previously got PC Engine and Neo Geo titles from had an influx of loose cartridges for one of my favourite retro computer systems that titles don't come up very often, and if they do, they're dreadfully expensive. But these titles, which I've never seen or owned on cartridge before, so it's wrapped very well, so congratulations to the people over there. I'll get the bubble wrap off. And then we have another layer of clean film. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, so pretty much all of these titles I've never seen boxed or in cartridge form. I may have had copies of floppy disks with ROMs on them. That's not the same thing as having the real cartridges. And there's a little bit of a theme with these. There's a couple of exceptions to the rule. The first one that comes up will be that. But anyway, the first one we have, so they're for MSX. And the first one is Championship Lode Runner. Now, I really do like the Lode Runner game. I actually have the Lode Runner, just the normal straight Lode Runner on disc, the disc version, although even that's a copy of the original disc. I could never afford to buy it. So I'll be interested to see what Championship Lode Runner is. It's probably, the same game, but with different and much harder levels. So I'll be looking forward to that. And the cartridge is in reasonable condition. So they got all these cartridges in, and I made a whole heap of offers on these, and basically said the offer stands as as for buying a lot, sort of thing. So I went pretty hard on the prices, and they accepted. So I'd say the average price of all of these items is about $15 each, which is pretty good for MSX. Some of them were a lot cheaper than that, and there was one item that's more expensive, which brought the average up. So the next title, not really with a theme, Xerion, which I think I showed a video of for the Sega SC3000 recently. The MSX version should be pretty much identical, but with potentially better sound, because it's got the better sound chip. It's actually not a bad cover on the an artwork on the cartridge. So this one is one that I saw back in the day on a cartridge. This is obviously the Japanese release. I think the one we got in Australia actually came in a Sony, was brought in by Sony like that as well. But anyway, I've got the Japanese release. Now the next one, and it is the original Valis game. There's the MSX version, so no Valis there, but it's the Valis character there. Come on, focus please. Put it in front of my face, will that help? It's trying. Might need to clean my on camera perhaps. I'm sorry about that, I just can't get that to focus. I'm missing out on the artwork. So the very first game in the Valor series. I mean, obviously not supposed to be graphically as good as those. Now the label isn't perfect, but this is one of the cheap ones. This is like $10, so you can't complain getting any MSX cartridge for $10, and particularly Valus, and Valus normally goes for a lot more money than that. Probably the game isn't good enough really to get a box one, so that's why I bugged out with that one and said, oh look, I'll just get the loose cartridge, and if I really like it later on I can always go. The next four are all from the same game company, and the very first ones of these type of cartridges I have. So we have Galaga, and these interesting cartridges with a hole in them, which actually makes it easier to pull them out of the machine. And as with a lot of other Namco games, they have the numbered in series, so this is title number 8. Next we have Rally X. I actually used to really love this in the arcades, and I don't think I've ever played it on the MSX before, so I'd be really interested. I have played the Galaga, so I've got a ROM of that one. And another one I don't think I've ever played the MSX version of, so number 7 is Dig Dug. I'm going to find out what the other one, the missing numbers are now. So these are all in really good condition. And another one of my favourite arcade games back in the day, I even rented an arcade cab of this game for my 18th birthday party and had it for the weekend, and it was awesome. And I have played the MSX version in a ROM, and it's not bad, so this is going to be a pretty good gameplay session. And I got one box one, and this wasn't that expensive, and is why I grab it. I mean, technically I'm not going to be able to play it unless I used a hacked version of it, because it'll be in Japanese, although saying that the cover's actually got English writing on the front of it, but it is Wise, Wanderers from Wise. It looks in really good condition. It says, in my time I've wandered everywhere around this world, hope will always be there. So it's the MSX2 and MSX2 Plus, and it's on 5 3.5 quarter floppy disks. It's in a nice, really nice portfolio style case, which you open up, and we have a hardback book, which is in Japanese, but has some really nice, I'll see if I can flip through that, it's hardback, so just got to be careful of the spine. Some lovely artwork in there. I won't show you all the pages, but I'll flip through. And then in the back it's got more instructional sort of play areas as well. It looks like, and actually from the screenshot, because I mean I've never played this, it's a side-scrolling platform-based one. So, and it's got player and enemy and ring and gold. So those parts of the instructions are in English. So you never know, we might be in luck of actually having a go of this. We have an original redemption or order card, and we have a catalogue, which will be very interesting. I've never seen. It's got a whole heap of items on there. I'm sure some of them for the what looks like the PC Engine, and there'd be more MSX titles on there as well. And it looks like it's never been opened. And then we have in nice hard foam in there are the discs, and they are in really good condition. Different stripes down there. So user, opening scenario, well still all the instructions are in English here. Data 1, Data 2, Data 3. I seriously didn't expect to be able to play this without a downloading a patched ROM. So we're very curious and how this goes loading up. Alright, so that's my first MSX pickup for a long time, and it really is one of my favourite systems, and be great showing these games and what the MSX system can do in some good arcade conversions. Alright, let's go to our gameplays. Right, here we go with Valis Phantasm Fighter, Phantasm Soldier, which I've never played before. Now this is the very first game in the Valis series, not as good as the later ones because of the limitations of the MSX, and they actually, in a way, try to do a little bit too much with this game. But it has very good music. Right, we can move our character, jump. There we go, I've already lost one life. Right, so if we dodge the fire, continue F5, try again. Right, so you get the bad guys, which are the hard to see green things. Once again, because of the capture, this may actually be easier for you to see. Ow! And then you get the energy modules, which you grab to increase your health. Oh, and there's a... There we go. We now have a weapon, and I'm dead again already. I just need more practice to get used to the controls, but you're pretty useless until you get your first type of weapon, and there are different weapons. Fusion Siege got quite good music. The graphics, once again, I think they went a little bit too far and tried to make it too complicated. They could have simplified it a little bit. It just makes it a bit harder to see. But as you can see by the scrolling backgrounds, it's actually quite a big game, and there is a lot to it, so I may do a better individual playthrough at another stage, but I've got quite a lot of games in this pickup to get through, so let's move on to the next one. Right, here we go with Exerion. So we'll see how this compares to the Sega version. So far the graphics and the sound are pretty much identical. You have to watch losing yourself in the background of the terrain down below. Ooh, that was close. Also, every time you shoot and you kill somebody, you actually get a charge in your weapon to use the rapid fire. Which if I was using an MSX joystick, I could utilise without having to go to the keyboard. I have to remember which key it is. So there's quite a few different enemies. And this used to be an arcade game as well. And there is an Exerion 2, whoops, on the MSX. And they made the graphics a little clearer. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the rapid fire is. There it is. So there we go. I'm holding down the rapid fire, and it's decreasing the charge. obviously the ideal thing is to set yourself up so you're a bit closer to the keyboard. But it's not a bad little, fairly simple but interesting shoot 'em up with some interesting special effects. Let's go try the next game. Right, here we go, Championship Load Runner. Input password is where you start off with. So we're at the starting level. And this is where not having an MSX joystick is going to kill me. Right, there we go. So we have the Z and X keys on the keyboard. It's probably easier to play using the keyboard. Got to wait for those holes to heal. So have I actually killed myself? I have already. So I've only started the game 5 seconds and I've already killed myself. I'll just go back into it again because I was mucking around with the joystick. I didn't notice what I did. You can't fall down in that bottom section. And you don't have much to defend yourself. Now luckily there's only 2 guys trying to get me at the moment. So what they do when I do this, they'll be after me quick as a flash. So it's really important that you don't go for those ones down the bottom and it's trying to figure out how in the world that you get to them. So Championship Load Runner is just that. It is really hard levels of Load Runner. I mean the original one came with almost 100, so I suppose this has another 100 levels. Designed purely to frustrate, but hours of pleasure. Alright, I'm not going to finish this level because I haven't actually figured out how in the world I'm supposed to get those 2 down the bottom at the same time. So let's try the next game. I'll definitely be playing that one a lot. Here we go with Dig Dug. Push space key, I'll take it the joystick button will do. Nice reasonable rendition of the tune. And we look quite colourful so far. Got one of our guys. Ooh. So the idea is you have to get rid of the monsters by pumping them up and making them explode. And it's trickier than you think because you have the dragons breathe fire and the last one always makes a run for it. You can also kill them not just by pumping them up, you can drop rocks on them if you time it correctly. And you get extra points. As you see, I got 1,000 points, but I died. And it's actually pleasing that it's got reasonably close to the arcade sound effects. And you get bonus fruit that appear in the middle. I'll show you how the last one, you've got to be careful with the dragons, they don't breathe on you. How the last one will make a run for the exit. So this is, not quite as colourful as the arcade as far as the main character and things concerned, but it has the most important thing, it has the gameplay elements. Oh, and you got me again. Alright, a very good version of Dig Dug on the MSX there. Let's try another game. Here we go with Rally X. This cartridge required a bit of cleaning. And yes, once good Namco, they've got the original music from the arcade. Okay, so we are... Oops, missed that one. So the idea is to go through the maze without being caught by the other cars. And I'm actually quite impressed because they've got smooth scrolling. The game does seem to be playing a little slower than you'd expect. So that's one of the bonus ones. Yeah, can we get down here without getting caught? So you've got to sort of keep an eye on the map so you know where the thing goes without losing too much time. Out of practice, Rally X player, eh? Right. And then you get a bonus for how much fuel you got left. So the sound effects aren't quite the same as the arcade game. It has a reasonable feel. It's not quite as, you know, doesn't seem to go along at the same breakneck speed of the arcade. There was no level select, but it's actually, I mean, it's probably something to do with the fact that they went with their smooth scrolling. But that's a good thing. Shows that Namco really knew how to push the machines they were working on. And as you can see, I've already entranced myself a little bit with this game, and also managed to, yes, capture myself. Alright, excellent, another excellent port, so let's try the next one. Right, here we go with Galaga. There's our familiar music. Let's see how it plays. Well, you know, obviously being a little restricted on screen space, these sprites are a reasonable size and reasonable detail. Ooh. Oh, that was probably the capture one. But the patterns, the attack patterns, feel familiar. Okay, now they attack me. Want to get captured? Hey, there we go. Oh, that's nice and colourful. No, I said I had the wrong one for this before, so I know that it plays quite well. I mean, this is a pretty reasonable facsimile of the arcade. That'd be right. You know, with all the stages. Oh, no, I do terrible. Oh! We missed the last wave. So there we go. we don't have to see how out of practice I am at Galaga, but that for me is a very, very good arcade conversion for an 8-bit computer. Okay, let's try the next one. Right, here we go with Bosconian. Star Destroyer Bosconian. Once again, get the music down pretty good. And we even have the digitized speech from the arcade game. And you can hold down the button. Now you can destroy the bases by knocking out all of their nodes. Here comes a squadron, which continue to attack until you hit the head part of the squadron. Oops. There you go. Technically you get more points if you shoot them by hitting the reactor core in the middle of the stations. And it keeps on going and getting harder. And yes, the scrolling's a little jerky when the space stations are on board and the rocks and things like that, because it's using, 8x8 cell. It's not good if you let that guy escape. I can't remember why. I think because all the fighters go out and go nuts if you let them get away. As you can see, I might have played this game a couple of times before. But once again, for those of you who have played the arcade game, this is a pretty decent close port. And it's just, Namco's attention to detail with these home ports of theirs. By the way, the things are shooting missiles out the middle of them now. Seems to slow down a little bit, whoops, when we go diagonally. I'll just clear this level before I survive. And I've got an extra life, so doing quite well. I could probably play this for quite some time. As you can see, different mazes, and it keeps on getting harder. Alright, as much as I'd like to continue playing that, we've got to move on.